is a Bramble Jam podcast.
Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
On today's episode, we are discussing the final two episodes, episodes 5 and 6, of 12 Dates Till Christmas, which originally aired on the Hallmark Channel on Friday, December 19th, and is currently available to stream on Hallmark Plus. Hey, if you're looking for more content, daily content from us just isn't enough, you need those Monday drops, brand new episodes from Megan and Wendy. You can get them on our Patreon, which is a rockin' and rollin' good time. We drop a brand new episode every Monday, unless there's a fifth Monday of the month, in which case you get a day off. You can get a full week of access completely free at patreon.com/Megan and Wendy to check all of that out. And after that, y'all, it's just $5 a month. It is a freaking steal. You can even give a subscription as a gift to a friend or to yourself. Put it on your last minute Christmas list. It will arrive in time for Christmas. No shipping required. Patreon.com/Megan and Wendy.
Hey, if you're not following us on Instagram, you should. We are at Girls Gone Hallmark. We are going to drop our, is it fourth annual?
Fourth
Annual Countdown to Christmas movie bracket best of on Friday, January 2nd. That's when it starts. It's going to be in our Instagram stories. It's play along. It's super fun. Y'all always have a lot of energy in choosing your favorite movies. So come play with us.
And there are usually a couple of surprises. The winner's not usually a surprise, but usually there's a couple surprise dark horses along the way. So that's always fun to see the fandoms activate.
Oh, totally. It's a bummer that this series won't be in the bracket.
It really is. It wins.
I wonder how it would fare. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
That's a good question. If we were going to put the series up against each other, what wins, this or Mistletoe Murders?
They were both so good.
Truly so good.
They were both so good. Let me tell you, I was on the phone with my mother-in-law the other day, and she's like, I'm watching a Hallmark movie. And I was like, oh, good. And then she's like, yeah, it's 12 Dates. And I was like, oh, well, that's not a movie. I just wanted to make sure, like, she knew, because I had a feeling she might have, like, picked it up, like, in episode 3 and 4.
Right.
And not realize it wasn't a series, but a movie instead. She goes, oh, no, I know. And she goes, it's kind of hard to follow. And they're all British. I can't understand them. And I was like, oh, no. I hope that's not where this series is landing with that demographic.
I don't think so. Think about how well those British crime dramas do. I think
True.
Like, that's one of my mom's favorite things. So Downton Abbey, I don't think the British piece is going to be a turnoff. And subtitles exist. I will tell you, we watched all of these episodes on screeners. There are no subtitles on screeners, and that challenged my brain a little bit. I like to read what I'm watching.
Same.
Not because of the accent so much as I just subtitle everything.
Me too. Everything.
Does your family have an opinion about that?
Well, I think they've just leaned into it. Like, they allow me. You know, sometimes we'll be watching a football game and the subtitles are on and they're like, okay, look, we got to turn this off.
Yeah. My family has leaned into, but I know that all three of them, if it were up to them, they would turn them off. Let's kick this episode off with a synopsis of episodes 5 and 6.
Sure. Episode 5, 'tis the season for do-overs. Kate has difficult decisions to make and turns to Delilah for help. Despite Laura's commitment not to meddle, she wants to make things right for Callum and Kate. Episode 6, 'tis the season for taking chances. As the 12th date draws near, Kate is feeling confident in her choices, but when new information comes to light, she can no longer deny her true feelings.
Episode 5 was written by Dava Avena with 13 writing credits. She is best known for her episodic work for shows like Devious Maids, Kevin Probably Saves the World, Grand Hotel, BH 90210, Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, and Firefly Lane. As a reminder, Dava had written episode 2 of this series.
Megan K. Fox returns as director. She had previously directed episodes 3 and 4.
Episode 6 was written by Aaron Rodman and author of the book, Jenny Bayless.
Episode 6 was directed by Emer Conroy, who had directed episodes 1 and 2.
Our core cast returns: Mae Whitman as Kate, Julianne Morris as Callum, and Lucy Eaton as Bestie Laura.
We also have Nathaniel Parker as Kate's dad, Mac, Jane Seymour as Evelyn, and Mary McDonnell as Kate's mom, Delilah.
In addition, we have Toby Sandman as Richard, Emer Morrissey as the matchmaker Drew, Harry Butler as Oliver, Jake Solari as Charlie, Fiona Brown as Nicola, and Killian Coyle as Ben. Let's take a quick break and come right back with our first impressions. Hey, Wendy, what was your first impression of these finale episodes of 12 Dates Till Christmas?
I don't say this lightly, but now that we've watched the entire series, this is the best thing I've watched all Countdown to Christmas, better than any movie I've seen.
There just aren't enough superlatives for this show. I don't know how many ways to say, it's so good.
I know. Like, I had to message Aaron Rodman yesterday after I had finished episode 6.
And say, it's so good.
Basically, I was like, all my notes say, oh my God, this scene. Oh my God, this scene. Oh my God, this scene.
Yes.
Like, I just want to, like, tell her, like, you put something so wonderful out into the world, and thank you for that. It was so good.
It would be criminal if this doesn't come back next year.
Criminal. I don't know. Okay, when we get, well, no, let me ask you this now. At the end of episode 6, did you say to yourself, like, oh yes, I could see a second season of this show with this cast?
Oh, well, yes, that's the show I want. But are you referencing the fact that they're like, we could do 12 dates?
Yeah.
Yes. See, I just love this cast so much.
Yeah, I know. See, that's, Erin had mentioned in her interview, like, oh, we could do 12 dates anywhere and basically with like a new cast or whatever. But now I'm so in love with the cast. I'm
yes.
Like, no, we need to stay in this little world here.
Well, and also she did mention that Jenny Bayless had written, like, the story exists for a second book, which would serve as the sequel series. So we'll see. I don't know how you abandon this show after 6 episodes.
You can't. But I'm fearful it's going to happen. I don't know.
Well, let me tell you my first impression. It is, somebody embroidered, just because the truth makes people uncomfortable doesn't mean you shouldn't say it, on a pillow for me this Christmas, please.
That is totally my takeaway from these 2 episodes.
Yes.
Mostly in episode 6, and we'll get there eventually, but can we talk about episode 5 first?
I want to talk about Kate's relationship with her mom, Delilah, and it's an absolute scene stealer for me. Obviously the relationship is not perfect, and I appreciate that, but the growth in this episode that they experience is really special. I really particularly loved the scene. It actually occurs in episode 6, but it built up throughout this episode where her mom says to her, Delilah says to Kate, you don't get to decide where I live. Like, Kate has discovered that Delilah has purchased this place in London, and she's like, what are you doing here? And Delilah's like, well, I want to be close to you, but I love that she's like, look, you don't have to be a part of this. Like, you can be as involved in my life as you want, but you don't get to decide where I live. You don't get to decide those details of my life. Like, I'm going to be here for you, and you can make your own choices, but I do get to decide some things for myself. And I just felt like it was truth bomb on truth bomb.
Totally.
And she's putting the ball very much in Kate's court. Also, Delilah is just an absolute delight. She says things like, my chakras are the least of my problems. And she talks about her face and she says, oh no, honey, that's just the Botox.
Yes.
I particularly enjoy her advice to Kate. She's like talking about Callum versus Richard, and Delilah's like, you got to find a third man. Nothing like another option to put the entire thing into focus, which honestly, kind of sage advice. The transition from episode 1, where Delilah existed off screen as this phone call disappointing Kate, to now, where she's still so much her free-spirited, funny self, but is making an effort finally at this point to be the parent that her daughter needs her to be. They have a really cute scene where she comes to Kate. Kate's in bed, and she has brought her breakfast in bed. And she starts to leave the room, and Kate's like, you're not going to make me eat all this by myself, are you? And she just like, she's giddy that her daughter has invited her to have this moment. I really enjoy that relationship trajectory.
Yeah, I for one really enjoyed Delilah's redemption arc. She's a surprise MVP for me personally, because when she came onto the scene, I was like, oh, she's a lot. She's a lot. You know, she's a lot for Kate to handle. She's very like in everybody's business. But that whole scene at her new home with Kate was like, I felt like I had been in a physical fight after that scene. Like I was knocked out. Like Kate said some of the like really mean things to her, to her mother. And I just love Delilah's response. Like you said, she says like, you don't give me permission to exist. And she had this line that said, no matter how much you punch me is going to change the past. And I just was like, oh my God, it's so good. These two together are so good. And there's something about Mary McDonnell's cadence, the way she speaks, draws me in.
Yes.
Like I pay attention to what she is saying.
Yes. And she also has this almost put on accent that I really enjoy. Like I described her in episode 1. I likened it to Moira Rose from Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
It's that, but it's her own. I could just listen to her speak for 2 hours straight.
Now, let me ask you, there was a scene where Kate goes to work and she's talking to Nicola.
Oh,
Nicola, right? Nicola. And she's telling her, oh, there's this client who's like, you know, whatever, but she's American. And I was like, wait a minute. Delilah's American?
oh yes.
This like accent or like inflection in her voice doesn't read American to me.
No, because I think it's put on.
She's worldly.
Yes.
Darling.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Got it. Yeah, she was so great in this. So great in this. And at the end when she shows up with like some rando dude.
Yes. Oh, he's Iggy and I'm trying him out.
Yeah. It's just fun. She's so fun. She's a fun character. Like bring me in a season 2 where we're like looking at her life more. It doesn't even have to be about dates anymore, right? Like maybe this cast is then part of like dates for future people. I don't know how it works, but I just need a season 2 with this cast.
Indeed. I agree.
I want to talk about Richard for a second.
Oh, yeah.
Or for a minute. The shine is wearing off.
Oh, instantly.
In episode 5, he's rude to Kate's date, Charlie. Charlie is a nice guy.
Yeah.
And they're out at that like shopping market or whatever. And I felt like he was just rude. And then he was like poking Kate about like, oh, you're jealous. No, dude, you're being petty and small. And I don't like anything about it, because this was a hard one for me because I was so wowie zowied by Richard in episode 1 and 2. I was like, man, this guy is beautiful. I love his flirt game. I love all of it, right? And you had said like, hey, maybe you said this, we're going to come to a point where we have to choose. And we needed something to go against Richard. Well, here it was happening.
Yeah.
Episodes.
I knew in our last episode that we were going to be confronted with something that was going to make us take the bloom off of the Richard rose. I think the audience got there faster than Kate did.
Yeah.
But
It's actually that's one of my wishes. I will get to it, but
that was really the scene because so Marjorie shows up first and Kate's talking to her and she's like, where's your date? And she's like, oh, he's around here somewhere. That's the moment. My notes literally say, oh no. And then I wrote OFC, it's Richard. Of course it's Richard. Mm-hmm. But I didn't like Richard in that moment. Like he's kind of accusatory, like, oh, are you jealous? And
yeah,
Kate was spot on. She's like, this is a little bit weird. We're dating each other. Now we're seeing each other with the other people that like we both know the score, but it is still a little bit weird to see them. And yeah, maybe I am like a little jealous. I am a little thrown.
It's very The Bachelor when they, he's going on multiple dates and like you have to, if you were a participant in that, then you're like watching that unfold. Yeah, it's got to be uncomfortable for sure.
Yeah, this is the turning point for me with Richard. There's many of them. But Charlie on this date, Charlie is lovely.
And cute.
He's cute. And he unfortunately for us, all this date really does is help show Kate a little bit what she wants from her career and from a relationship. She kind of seems to realize like, oh, I do want to be in a relationship. And oh, maybe I do want to spread my wings a little bit with my career. So Charlie's a nice vehicle for that. He plays into my wishes a little bit, but when he takes her down into the textile archives, like he sees her, he knows who she is and what she would like. That's a really lovely gift. And then they have their terrible pizza together. Mm-hmm. I thought that was very nice. And then, of course, he has a hand in her work via Nicola landing in the museum.
Yeah, he's like a good guy. I needed a closed loop on Charlie. Mm-hmm. Who did Charlie end up with? Anyone?
Oh yeah.
Was he heartbroken? He didn't end up with Kate? Or what? What happened?
What else did you like?
We have not talked about Julian Morris a whole lot as Callum.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he is real good, especially in episodes 5 and 6. Really good. When he has the scene between him and Kate, first of all, he does that whole like do-over date for her that she doesn't show up at.
Gosh.
I loved all the intention behind that. Like he's like, okay, I'm ready here. And I'm doing it. Right. And then she doesn't show. Mm-hmm. She's swooped away by Richard instead, which I hated.
Yeah. It's another point against Richard.
Totally. But when they have their big confrontation between Kate and Callum and talk about mean things being said to each other, you know, obviously there's like a lot of history there with friendship, but there's a lot of hurt, right? And like, I think you say a lot of like mean things to people you love the most. And oh God, this was heartbreaking to watch for me when they have that big blowout.
I'm not here to make you feel better about the mess that you made.
Eeks. And I don't trust you. I don't know what you want, or you don't know what you want. Like all that. Oh my God. I was like, oh no, there's no returning from this.
So that date that Kate missed with Callum, he's mad at her for not showing up. And I'm like, she didn't do anything. Like she's just showing up at the date. Like as far as I could tell, she was like told to go to this location. Like Richard hijacked it. He masterminded. He was the one who figured it out. She didn't know where she was going or with whom in either case.
Yeah. But then we see that unfold. Like Richard sees Callum at the hospital and he's like, yeah, I took her away from, so Callum eventually learns that it was Richard who took Kate. Mm-hmm. It wasn't Kate's decision in that matter. I really liked Julian Morris. I like Callum. He's a complicated character.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what I like about this show so much is that these characters are not one-dimensional. They have so much baggage. And speaking of baggage, the scenes between Evelyn and Mac.
Oof.
So they make me so happy that Evelyn telling Callum, like, I'm not ready to care for somebody. Like she's been alone for 10 years. And now she's thrown back into like worrying about somebody she cares about. And then her and Mac have this like great scene and she's like, but I wouldn't trade my baggage for the world. It means I lived a full life. And
Yeah.
like I have said for 2 episodes now, I didn't care where Mac and Evelyn ended up. Like, it didn't need to be romantic for me. I just really enjoyed their need for each other and them finding each other. But I am happy that they have like a romantic thing because it just makes me happy.
Yeah, will you take me for a ride on that bike of yours? Oh, I was so happy when they come to that understanding, and then when they have the conversation after he goes to the hospital. Oh my goodness. I'm really happy that they found each other. And I think you're right that her fears feel very authentic and real. Like, she has lived a life, and so they are carrying baggage into it because they're humans who have experiences, but I needed them to have each other.
Yeah, I'm so happy about them.
I liked Kate's work trajectory. She talks about the longest scene we see with Nicola. Nicola's looking at these 2 sets of patterns that she's working on, and she's not able to choose which one, and it kind of mirrors what's going on in her love life.
Yeah.
I'm glad we see at the end of these episodes her kind of breaking out. I liked when her mom showed up, and her mom is layering praise on Nicola, and then she says, but that pattern was developed for my lovely daughter. Like, she's making sure that she gets the recognition that she deserves. She's not just this cog in the Nicola wheel. And I think Charlie does the same thing. And as much as her mom is a little bit meddlesome in going to Nicola to get her to be the designer, it also was kind of the push that she needed to go out on her own. So that's a nice closed-ish loop on her work situation. I wanted more from Laura, and we got it in this episode.
Yeah.
And her realization that I don't actually want to be partner. I don't really want this job anymore. I want to go out on my own. Thought it was hilarious that her husband's like, yeah, you can be a professional meddler. And then, of course.
How great is her husband?
Oh, my.
He's so great, right?
He's such a good partner.
I know.
He's such a good partner. And there are so many moments where he does it. Like when Kate's there and unloading on her, and he's kind of just in the background reacting, and he's so good. I mean, bring him out more, but he's such a good foil to Laura. And then, of course, the closed loop on that with her gifting Kate the contract of being her first client as an attorney as she starts her business.
Yeah, I love Laura. I love all these characters. You know, when Laura goes into the pantry and screams into a tea towel, it felt very relatable right now.
Yeah.
I laughed out loud when she did that. I laughed out loud. Can we talk about my hypothesis that I had in our last episode about
oh my gosh,
Marjorie and the Richard and the bracelet?
Indeed.
I don't pat myself on the back.
You
I'm
should.
usually wrong about these things.
You absolutely should. I was like, it's all happening.
Yep. And it just really showed, like, Richard was such a kind of a douchebag.
I know, such a disappointment, honestly. And the writing was, you could see how it the kind of on the wall, right? Like, he was a little too good to be true, and you were like, we don't really know anything about him. But you could see how Kate would be drawn in because he was charming and sending these sweet messages and buying her gifts, and well done on the Richard arc, but man, did I hate him at the end of this episode.
Me too. When they're dancing and he's like, oh, this is an opportunity now for us to get to know each other, and she's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, oh, the 12 dates are fantasy. And she's like, no, I've been sharing my truth.
Yes.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm finally glad, like, she got there, like, she realized, like, he was not it.
Well, and he's like, it's just lucky for me that it makes a good story that the girl I stood up at the beginning is the one I choose at the end. Gross.
Yeah, totally gross. But I did love when Drew is dancing with her partner and she's like, and there she has her moment. And I was like, that was great.
Yeah.
That was great. Great, great, great.
I mean, I like the birdhouses in the courtyard during the final scene. A thoughtful way to update the courtyard, bring Mac into it.
Yeah, that was great.
The visual of his coping mechanism.
Yeah, and what do you think about their kiss?
I loved their kiss.
Kate and Caleb's, like, in the, oh, no, I need to talk about this scene. when Laura gifts herself as a lawyer for Kate, but then gives the gift that Caleb had, right? That
Oh,
little
the napkin.
noodle. And then she goes to
noodle.
the cafe. She goes to the cafe and like throws it up against the window. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Oh my, it gave me chills. Like this was reminiscent of How Do You Like Them Apples from Goodwill Hunting. If you remember the scene where he's like, I got the number, and he shows the number. Do you know what
I 100% know what you're talking about.
It was so moving. I loved it. Then they go and they have this conversation and, about like where the status of they are. And he turns around and walks away out into the courtyard, and the courtyard is all done up and they have their big kiss. I loved it. It was a satisfying ending.
Yes, I loved it too. The napkin on the window moment had a little bit of a different callback for me. In fact, it was the Ross and Rachel's closing up Central Perk, and Ross shows up and she turns around and he's in the window. And he comes in and they have their kiss. Very cinematic moments all around.
Yes. Very good. That's funny you bring up Ross and Rachel, because while I was watching this, I was like, it kind of gave me that vibe of like, here are these people who have known each other for a long time. And, he's had this like crush on her or whatever, right? Like it kind of gave me like it played in that world too.
Well, and I also, this was in my Did You See That's, but while we're talking about it, Laura is wearing lobster pajamas during one scene. And of course, Ross and Rachel, he's her lobster, and she's like team Callum and Kate. It could be coincidental, could have to do with any number of things, but I noted it.
I want those lobster pajamas.
Real cute.
Very cute.
Well, now let's talk what you wished for in this episode.
I have two. One is, and we briefly touched on it, but if anything, I wish Kate could have seen just for a moment what we saw in Richard, just a tiny bit earlier. Because even after the whole bracelet thing, when she calls him out as like, it's a little bit sister wives, I laughed out loud. I know you loved Sister Wives.
I do.
But she kind of like was like, okay.
And then
like,
they're dancing again.
Yes. And so I wish she had the realization like a little bit earlier. But that makes for good TV.
It does make for
screaming. Yeah.
It does make for good TV. But like when she walks into that Parisian style date, I'm like, I wanted her to be like, oh, you don't know me at all. Like this isn't what I want. Like you have the contrast of the date that Callum has planned and Richard's date. I'm like, I know that these dates have been fun and fancy, but this isn't who she is. And he's like, it's our thing. And she's like, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, that was great.
And then even at the hospital, she, after everything's okay with Mac and she sends everybody home, she goes over and kind of like leans into Richard's embrace. So she's still in on Richard in that moment. I almost wonder if she's like this fictional character, these thoughts she's having, but if she's like, well, I've made this decision, like I really need to lean into this relationship because I'm here. Like I don't want to be wrong. I wanted a little bit more time with Charlie. I wanted Kate to explore. They clearly had a connection, and I understand it's not going to happen. Like Callum is the guy, but she and Charlie had a connection, and she kind of writes him off because he's geographically undesirable. And I wish we had maybe explored that a little bit more. I know there's not time, but I think we could have done maybe a little more with that.
Well, okay. So speaking of time, if we had more than 6 episodes, we could have like dove a little deeper into these things.
Right.
Like I would have liked to see a little more of her work stuff fleshed out, maybe not feeling recognized by Nicola, right? Or whatever. And the Charlie stuff. I just think if we had more than 6 episodes, we could have like double tapped deeper into exploring these kind of things.
I agree.
Just like if we love The Pit, right? How many episodes was that show? 10?
15.
Oh, see, God, I would have loved 15 episodes of
Yes.
Yeah, just so we can like dig in deeper to their motivations, their thoughts, their whatever.
Agree.
Yeah.
Do you have any more wishes?
Nope.
My only other wish is the transition from the kiss at the end of episode 4 to episode 5. They're kind of in limbo. That could have been fleshed out a little bit more for me in terms of Kate and Callum and how they went from, okay, we had this kiss and now we haven't talked for several days and Kate doesn't trust it and Callum doesn't understand what her reservation is. And it does a good job of making it frustrating for the viewer. Like, come on, see that he's the one. But I also was like, wait a minute. It's such a stark contrast in moods. I just wanted to get back to that happy doodly place.
Yeah, totally.
Well, let's talk. Did you see that?
I have 2.
Okay.
One is a notable scene to me, and another one is a thought. When Kate leaves her date with Richard, date 12, and she is walking back home and she sees her dad and Evelyn, and she just crumbles into his arms. Oh my God. It was such a good moving scene. Mae Whitman is so good.
Mm-hmm.
I just love that scene so much. My other did you see that is just a thought. And at the end of episode 6, I was like, this whole series for me tapped into a place of like, we go about living our lives and we like push down or like lock away grief and fear and unfinished business. And I just thought that was so relatable. And I love that Kate and these dates were the catalyst for opening all of that up for everybody. It just was really a really good series.
The best. It deserves an annual rewatch.
Do you have any? Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. Laura's daughter's octopus costume at the school play. You cannot tell me that is not a Love Actually 8 is a lot of legs, David. Callback?
Oh.
100% writers. You got to let me know that I'm right about that. I laughed out loud. The reveal about Mac's panic attack not being his first, I thought was really interesting because we talked about the big difference in Mac from episodes 1 and 2 to episodes 3 and 4, where all of a sudden he's got his life together. He's the voice of reason. He's carrying them all on his back emotionally. It was nice, to your point about the things that live under the surface that we don't really let see the light of day, because I think that's exactly what's happening here, that Mac moved on perhaps a little bit too quickly from his accident, from the touches of depression that we were seeing in his life change. And it just speaks to the fact that he has some more healing to do rather than just one day deciding everything's fine and I'm going to move on and it will catch up with you. As an anxiety girly, I appreciated that representation.
I bet you did.
The opening train look from episode 1 pays off in the finale. When you see her leaving the ball where she has left Richard behind, and it's that exact same moment. The corsage drops on the steps. You see her sparkly shoes, and then you realize, you see her headed home on the train. I enjoyed that callback and payoff. And finally, the final scene where Kate's dad and Evelyn are going to take off on their motorcycle. She's like, I'm always going to be protective, but I'm going to let you live your life. And then she's like, I took all the gas out of the tank. She's going to give him some freedom. But in the end, she's still who she is. I have one more. Did you see that for 12 dates? And for the listeners, this is an addition, a future editor's note that I can't believe I forgot to mention. This did you see that at the holiday ball, while Kate is walking through, we see Sarah and Oliver on the couch making out.
Oh, stop. I didn't see that.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It was great. They're together. Happy endings for everyone. I don't even need to ask, what'd you rate this episode?
Oh, 5 stars.
Yeah, 5, 10, 20. Literally, my notes say 5, 10, 20, all of the stars. Hey, thank you for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark, a Bramble Jam podcast. If you love this podcast as much as we love this series, we love your 5-star ratings and reviews. You can drop them right into the Apple Podcast app. And we will be back next time with more Hallmark reviews. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.